What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of NoFap. The time is 11:25 p.m. I am feeling a little under because now I'm actually starting to cough a lot, which is really annoying. But I am doing pretty good today. Today I actually did a little bit of work. I actually went out to do some gig work along with doing some research, doing some product research, as well as some ad research. And I've been thinking about making a new kind of video for my ads. So did a lot of brainstorming. Did some gig work to earn a little extra money too. So yeah. All in all, it was a pretty good day. Didn't go to the gym today because I woke up feeling awful, and my cough is getting worse. And that's annoying because energy-wise, I feel okay. But I know, body-wise, I feel awful. My lower back hurts for some reason. But it's not as bad as, a regular cold. I'm not getting chills. That's what I'm used to when I have a cold, is getting, chills. So I'm okay-ish, relatively. I'm relatively okay. I'm just leaking out of every orifice of my face, and then I have a cough. So I'm honestly not too bad, all things considered. Honestly, not too bad. NoFap today was a little bit of it. It was pretty easy because I didn't go to the gym, but I did, if I ever got hit with that anxiety, I would just get up and I have a pull-up bar. I did some pull-ups. I did some bicep work, because normally today I'd be doing my pull day. I'd be doing back and biceps. So I figured if I wasn't going to go to the gym, I might as well do some kind of work, and I can, thankfully. I've got calisthenic stuff I can do. I do have 2 dumbbells. Not the weight that I would like to do bicep curls on, but it works. I just need to get these freaking shoulders bigger. I really have to I want to get these shoulders huge. My biggest problem when it comes to my workout is my freaking upper chest and my shoulders. I'm trying to get this cap right here pretty big. I want to get this area pretty big. But yeah, upper chest and this I need to do more lateral raises. But everything else seems fine. I love doing back day. I like biceps. I like doing chest, even though it's I don't know. I find chest harder than back, probably because the muscles aren't as big as back is. But I need to get a top shelf. That's what I got to do. I got to work harder for my top shelf. So we'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. If I'm feeling all right, I might push it and do some chest day. Who knows? But yeah, all in all, pretty good day. I got some time to recover, and I had some time to do some work, do some pretty light, not too crazy work with my body. And got to do a little bit with the business, got to earn a little bit of money, so really good day. What I want to talk about today is basically what I was talking about yesterday. I want to talk about it because I did think about everything that has gone on with me in the past year or so. I definitely do feel less motivated, less disciplined. Even though I am more disciplined than I was before NoFap, I am less disciplined than I was during NoFap. I mean, I'm still going to the gym. I when I can, obviously. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still working on my business, but I kind of feel like it's stopped there. I'm working on my business. I'm doing Muay Thai. I'm working at and I'm doing my business thing, but I haven't gone further than that. And it's when I spent a good amount of time thinking about it too. While I was doing gig work, delivering groceries and delivering food, I just thought about it. It's like, what really went down? I know it was after my confirmation, but what really went down? And it was peace. Like after my confirmation, it was peace. Like I had a lot of peace. And you guys see in my videos, my old videos, I talk about life is war. Life is supposed to be a battle, and it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. You know, you're supposed to have a hard time with it. But when you overcome, like, you know that nothing can kill you. Because of my confirmation and because of, talking with priests and talking with other Catholics, I've been so filled with a peace that kind of quelled that. I kind of valued that peace as well. I was like, wow, I feel okay where I'm at. I feel okay. Even if I don't have everything I want right now, I know that if I continue working for it, it's going to be okay. And one of the biggest things too is I forgave my friend. Being betrayed by two of my friends, I forgave them. Like it was literally my first I went to my first confession ever. And I confessed, like, I'm holding on to this person. I haven't fully forgiven them yet. And the priest said, just forgive them. Like, just tell them you forgive them. And it'll come afterwards. Because I knew it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a good thing to not forgive them, And so I did. I sent a message to them. I said, hey, we're good. Just want to let you know we're good. Got confirmed Catholic, and I immediately just sent them or before, like a few days before I got confirmed, I said, hey, listen, I forgive you. Like, we're good. And they didn't respond. I wasn't expecting them to respond, but I sent the message. So, yeah, I felt a lot of peace after that. But because I felt a lot of peace, I stopped using that rage. I stopped using that, that kind of just disappeared, and I was just filled with so much peace. And that's not a bad thing to be filled with peace. It's not a bad thing, but when I was so used to war, like warring against myself, warring against the kind of person that I don't want to be, out of fear and out of anxiety and out of not wanting to be humiliated by those like that again, it made me, basically incredibly determined, incredibly hard-lined, and incredibly focused on the war, focused on the fight, And I kind of feel it during Muay Thai too. When I was doing Muay Thai before I was a Catholic, I was going hard. Every time I was in there, I was going hard. And then after, I felt myself being more at, not pushing as hard as I used to. Not pushing as hard as I used to. And, do I want to let go of that? It's hard because I want to have both. I want to be at peace with everything that I have and with everything that I am. But I don't want to lose that fire. I don't want to lose that kind of person that pushed hard, that fought and continued to fight and treated every opportunity and every moment like it was a war to be won. It filled my life with so much purpose. It filled my life with so much drive. And I miss it. I really do miss it. But I'm so filled with peace from being able to let go and from being able to forgive that, I no longer fear of that thing happening to me again. I no longer see it as my fault that it happened, that I was betrayed. I just see it as something that is what it is. And I don't know if I should continue to adopt that, continue to dive into, hey, like, that is your fault. It was because you weren't enough. You were a loser. And shoot, that might be true. I mean, that was true. I was a freaking loser. But when I look at all the things that I am now, I know that I guess I started to be able to like be more forgiving with myself, but it's also become a little bit too forgiving. Like, hey, you're not where you want to be, but continue to pray, continue to stay on this path, and you'll be fine. It's not a push. It's not a what more can I do. It's just stay the path, stay the course. Eventually, everything will work out. That's what it feels like right now, and man, I really do want to get that fire back. But I'm sure when I read your guys' comments, you guys have some wisdom to impart for me. And that's what I like. That's what I want that wisdom. I'm still working this out. It was definitely very jarring to go through it. And it's definitely jarring even now because I'm reconnecting with an old audience. And a lot's changed in a year. A lot has changed in a year. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. So, I'm going to dive into the comments. Mike, the fire within consists of something more than strength. It requires bravery. Work on both. Yeah, definitely. Bravery is something that I definitely have. Like, you hit a baseline of it, because going to the Muay Thai gym for the first time and talking to people at the gym for the first time, and starting a business and all that stuff, that was brave. And I'm still doing those things, but it's now just become the baseline. It's no longer brave because I no longer fear it. I'm no longer jumping into things that make me that I am afraid of, to have opportunities to be brave. I've noticed that too. I've started to get too comfortable. That's the word. I've gotten a little too comfortable with where I'm at. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. You didn't say every day later, but you were living that way. Yeah, you're right. Forgot that's my name. Every day, I forgot that's the name of my channel, Everyday Truer. For the last few days, which is why things went bad. Yeah, to the setting of harder boundaries. You've been on my prayer list, bro. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely need to set harder boundaries. I used to have it. I used to have those hard boundaries. I used to be like, no. That was, again, before I was confirmed. I was like, no, I'm going home at this time. I'm going to wake up super early tomorrow to go to the gym. I got to wake up for Muay Thai. I can't spend all night with you guys talking at a Denny's parking lot until 6 a.m. I can't do that. And then now, like, lately, I've been doing that more. So I got to set those hard boundaries for myself again. JD, I'm actually looking forward to this comment. I respond to you by bringing up another one of your old vlogs that stuck with me. NoFap 11, day 44, which was, funnily enough, the midpoint of your successful 90-day streak. I will say I'm quite impressed that you remember all of it. I don't know if you can, I don't know if you watch my old videos or you just haven't remembered, when I said certain things. But I'm impressed either way. In that video, you talked about the resurfacing of your old grief stemming from being betrayed by your two friends. You had this look of visible heartbreak on your face and mentioned that you couldn't get any sleep because of what you saw. Interesting. I'm trying to think of that moment. I probably kind of that information probably left my head, but I'm actually interested to see. However, in spite of your suffering, you still fulfilled your duties the next day. That's when I knew that the guy who used to post vlogs of himself drunkenly wallowing in grief had adapted the champion's mentality that he had been searching for. You operated not out of rage of being wronged, but out of conviction toward achieving your goals. It was honestly an inspirational thing to witness from you. Yeah. Yeah, I think especially, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, like Andrew Tate picked me up when I was like the lowest. When I was at my lowest, it was Andrew Tate that kind of like pretty much said, you're a loser, right? You're a loser. I don't feel bad for you, but you could become something more. All you have to do is work. All you have to do is try. All you have to do is do something brave. All you have to do is be convicted of something and stand by that conviction. And to be honest, I haven't been listening to him a whole lot lately. But yeah, I remember those times. I remember those times when I was like, who cares? It wasn't who cares how I feel. It was like, yeah, I feel awful, but I'm not going to stop moving forward. I'm not going to stop, you know, if nobody can count on me, who can? If I can't count on me, who can? You know? It's kind of that mentality of like, despite everything that's going on, there are things I must do. And if I don't do those things, how can I really call myself a man? How can I really call myself that, like, how could I avoid being a loser if I don't do these things, right? So, yeah. I'm actually kind of interested to, now that I think about it, I'm kind of interested to look back and see the kind of man I used to be. And if there's something there to grasp onto again. But anyway, for me personally, I regained my fire by telling myself that I had no other option but to complete whatever task I had before me. As if it were a matter of survival. I often think about this quote, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. I refuse to allow myself to revert to the old weak me, and I know you feel the same about yourself too. Yeah, definitely becoming Catholic and making a whole bunch of Catholic friends and talking with priests and taking the Eucharist for the first time and constantly taking the Eucharist every Sunday. It's like, those were good times, and they're still good times. But do I say like that created a weaker version of me? Maybe stronger spiritually, but weaker in other ways. But I do know this, I definitely don't feel as strong as I used to. I definitely don't feel as convicted as I used to. So you have a point there. As for my Catholic friends over here in Texas, a lot of them have that crusader spirit, their own flame that compels them to operate not out of hatred, but out of a conviction for God. Butterfly Effect 9882 also left a great comment to why you feel your old fire is quelled. I haven't read that comment yet, so I'm looking forward to reading that. My brother, I will end this comment by asking my question of the day that I used to ask on your old vlogs. How far does the complacency have to go for you to regain that conviction? Crusader spirit, huh? I used to think about that. I used to think, because it used to be out of it, yeah. It wasn't really out of hatred. It was, hatred of who I could, like, the kind of person that I used to be, but it was also just the rage of my own weakness. It was yeah. I would like to, and I have thought about it. I thought, could I get that old mentality back, but direct it in that kind of way? And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, and then I actually tried, because this was a thought I had a few months ago before I started vlogging again, of like, what happened to my old fire? What happened to my old rage? What happened to everything? I started asking about it. It's like, how do I get that back? And, you know, I actually like did a whole back and forth with an AI to kind of like I kind of told him pretty much everything that happened to me with like my conversion to Catholicism and then forgiving the people that wronged me. And they said the AI model said like try to, you know, a lot of people in your shoes go through the same thing. They convert and then they suddenly their old fire, their old flame, their old fuel source is gone, but then they need to direct it towards not towards hatred of self, not towards hatred of the weakness within themselves, but towards love of God, towards love of virtue, towards a righteous fury, towards something that is wrong that should be right. And I explained, I was just like, when I think about that righteous fury within me, it doesn't seem to burn as strong and as hot as hatred of my weakness, hatred of excuses, the laziness, it was like a roaring fire compared to a steady flame. And, you know, when I explained it, you know, and apparently, because this is just AI speaking, right? So I don't know if this is true, but apparently the same people that go through what I'm currently going through, they're apparently realizing, yes, it's not a big a flame as like what I'm used to, but it is a constant and steady flame. And it is something that continues to burn, like the further out you go. There is no, you know, the rage doesn't explode and then suddenly quells. It is a righteous fury that continues to burn. And I thought about that and I'm like, okay, but do I have that? Do I have that righteous fury? Do I have that crusader spirit? And I gotta be honest, I don't feel it. Or if I do, it's definitely not as strong. It's not as strong as the rage I used to have in me. But it doesn't even feel like it even compares, you know? It's a little too dimly lit. That's what it feels like. I hope it makes sense what I'm saying. But I'm still working it out. I'm still thinking it through. I'm still thinking it over. Anyway, your question. How far does the complacency have to go for you to regain that conviction? Ain't that a question? I'm already definitely coming to a head with it right now. I'm already pissed at myself that I've gotten here. I'm already pissed at myself that I let it get this far. I'm still broke. I mean, I think about it all the time. I'm still broke. I'm not as strong as I want to be. I'm not as skilled at Muay Thai that I want to be. I still don't have a girlfriend. I'm still not like I'm still not super charismatic. There's still things I'm insecure about. There's still anxiety that I'm fighting with. There's still a bunch of things that I hate about myself that I know I can fix, that I want to fix. But I like being at peace. I like feeling at peace. And there's so many things that when I bash my head against the wall, it just, sometimes I think, like, is this going to pay off? I no longer, like, is this going to pay off as in, like, is this where God has me? Is this really where God wants me to be? You know? I know that sounds crazy. If you watch my old videos, it was just no, this is it. There's nothing else for me. This is it. It's going to be this. I'm going to run my business. It's going to be super successful. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be super charismatic. I'm going to be all these things. There is no other choice. And there was no peace. There was no room for peace. Because all I wanted was the war. And now I have peace. I might have a little too much of it. How far does complacency have to go before you to regain that conviction? You know? I think it's gone a little too far right now. But to regain that conviction, I guess, if I'm being honest, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared what I might have to give up. But isn't that what men do? They give things up and they chase after something that is a risk. That's what men do, right? Yeah. Definitely a lot to think about. A lot to ponder. A lot to pray on. Anyway, I got another comment to read. But thanks for the comment, JD. You're a real homie. Butterfly Effect. Listen and learn from Watchman Nee audiobooks. He was a Christian who believed every person had three parts to them: the spirit, the soul, and the flesh. Anytime you use your emotions like rage for gain, you use something described as operating out of your soul life. Specifically the human will and emotion, the shell of the self. Nee describes the natural human soul as a hard outer shell. Rage, ambition, and intense willpower are energies of this outer man. Rage is a useful tool, but born of the flesh. And I agree with that. The Bible notes that human anger can achieve earthly results. Yeah. Yeah. It can drive a man to work hard or build an empire. Very true. But in James 1-20, chapter 1, verse 20, it warns that the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Yeah, you're right about that. There's a lot of unrighteous things, or more accurately, self-righteous things I did when I used anger. You're using a toxic earthly fuel to build a temporary earthly structure. You say you lost your fire and drive when becoming a Catholic, but Watchman would describe that as breaking your outer man. When you surrendered and gave your life to God, the Holy Spirit began to deal with the hard, angry outer shell. I won't lie. I was still going to church as a Protestant. It was just that I was so more convicted of that rage and that outer man that, I kind of brought it into the church. I kind of brought it into the church that I was at. And, I had people push back on me, but they didn't, for me, it was, in my mind, it was like, they don't understand. They don't understand, right? And I was like, I was doing so many good things. I was doing so many great things. How could this be such a bad thing? But anyway. God purposely allowed our natural energies like rage-driven willpower to fail, wither, or be taken away. That happened when I forgave. I even struggled with it when I was a Protestant. I even told people, I'm struggling to forgive. I'm struggling to forgive these two people that wronged me. And, all I got from it was they say, hey, make sure you forgive them. But, that's pretty much it. They'll pray for me. And I out loud said, I forgive them, but I never actually reached out to them and forgave them. So until I became a Catholic. So, where was I? God personally, why? Because as long as you're fueled by rage, remind yourself, I'm not God. Um, yeah. The loss of that fire isn't a backslide. It's actually a sign that God has successfully neutralized a fleshly coping mechanism. The old fuel source that has been disconnected. Step 1 is to accept the death of the old fire. You shouldn't mourn the loss of your rage or try to conjure it back up to get motivated. He would tell you to thank God that the toxic fire is gone. That rage was an expression of the self-life that needed to die so Christ could live through you, Galatians 2:20. Instead of being driven by rage from the soul, you now need to be led by zeal from the Holy Spirit. Yes, that's exactly what I talked about, actually. Exactly what I'm also afraid of what that'll look like. But I can't keep staying in this middle ground, you know? I'm kind of in this middle ground of wanting my old rage back. I won't lie, I do have that desire. I do desire to have that old rage because it fueled so much of what I did. My business, my workouts, my attitude, my confidence. Like, it fueled so much that I have such a huge ego. I had a really big ego. But, you know, once I converted to Catholicism and I let go of, I was able to forgive and I let go, I lost that. I lost that old flame and I was filled with so much peace. And now it's like kind of caught in the middle. How do I get that the conviction of my old flame, but still understand and have the peace of the Lord with me? So, anyway, continuing on. However, instead of doing them to prove something to the world or out of spite, you must now ask the Holy Spirit to give you... Wait, hold on, sorry. The Holy Spirit. The new fuel, discipline, business excellence, and physical health do not have to disappear. However, instead of doing them to prove something to the world or out of spite, man, you got me pegged right to a T. You must now ask the Holy Spirit to give you a clean, steady, quiet strength. The inward man. In the breaking of the outer man, he explains that once the outer shell is broken, the life of the spirit inside can finally flow out. This results in a life of discipline that is marked by peace and joy, not stress and fury. You know, I used to be grateful for stress. I used to be grateful for the fury. And now I'm so filled with so much peace and so much joy that it's conflicting. Because I still desire that stress and fury, even though I have the peace and joy. It's creating a lot of tension within myself. Of like, you used to be able to push harder, you used to be able to do all these things, and now you're not doing it. You know, it's like, yeah, I know. Those weren't bad things, but I guess it was a not so good source. But anyway, you used up your reserve of human adrenaline and anger. God took away the toxic fuel so that he could replace it with divine fuel. Don't look for the old burning rage. Instead, you need to practice waking up daily and saying, Lord, I have no strength of my own today. Move my feet, give me discipline, and run my business through your spirit. You'll find a new kind of fire, one that builds things up without burning you out. Yeah. What do I think about that? I think that really does encapsulate everything that I've been going through. An inner tension. Inner tension of desiring that old fire. But because I have so much peace within me, they're clashing against each other to the point where now I don't know what to do. I'm scared to move on from this. I'm scared of having to. I'm scared of losing something. You know, It's like, what if I accept this peace and this joy? What if it doesn't work out? What if this? What if it? You know, it's faith, I guess. That's faith. That's faith. That's what faith is. That's what faith is. Is knowing it will. It's knowing it will work out. And so, yeah, that's still something you know what? That's something I got to learn. Something I got to learn. It's something that now that I think, yeah, when I think about it, it's something that I'm wrestling with. It's like, and now instead of just saying no, now instead of being so self-assured of being like, this is going to work out because there's nothing left for me. There's nothing else for me. This is like, this business is going to work out. I'm going to get a huge body because I'm doing it, you know? Now it doesn't, now when I look at it, it was almost like building a false road. So when I have like the path set before me, right? It's like the path set before me. I've got my business, I've got my Muay Thai, I've got my acting, I've got working out, I've got all of these things, and the path forward is, right ahead. And when I was burning with that old flame, I was basically creating an artificial path ahead that I could see, right? I was building an artificial path ahead that I could see. When in reality, it wasn't real. I didn't actually know it was going to be that way. I don't even know if it's going to be that way. I'm just telling myself, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. And if I can do these things and I just bash my head against the wall and I continue to go for it, eventually I'll get to the freaking castle. Let's say so. There's a castle. There's me, and there's a dark road ahead. And then I have a fury so bright that I'm just constructing the road ahead for myself and saying, you know what, that's the road ahead. Even though I can't see in front of me, I'm just saying it's for certain it's going to be that way. And then when my old flame died, and now I have peace, but I'm still trying to look elsewhere for my old flame. It's like, I don't see the road ahead of me. And the only way to know for certain that I'm going to get to the castle is to surrender it to God. And I guess I'm scared that if I surrender it to God, the path ahead of me is still going to be dark. See what I'm saying? Is that a weird analogy? That's the analogy I came up with. It's like I got the old fire. I'm creating an artificial path in my head that says it's just a straight shot. I just got to run, and I'll get to the castle. And then now with this old flame, because I'm so conflicted, I'm not giving it to God. I'm not having faith of where he's put me, that I'm just like, I don't know if I want to take a step forward. I can't see. I can keep telling myself, like I used to, that this is for sure going to happen. I could keep having that conviction of, nah, this is exactly what's going to happen, and I'm going to force it there. Or I can simply say, here, let's keep walking, and not know what's ahead of me. Yeah. It's, I'm at a crossroads right now. I've been kind of wrestling with this tension for a while, ever since Easter, actually. Been wrestling with this clash of different ideas, clash of different roads that I'm like, I know which one I want to take, and I know which one I should take. I won't lie, I want that old flame back. I felt more assured, felt more confident. This new path, this what you call inward man. I'm not familiar with the inward man. And I don't know if he's got what it takes. But I guess I haven't tried it yet. So, anyway, it's enough waxing poetic for me. Lots to think about reading those comments and thinking about it on my own. Lots to think about. But I know I'll figure it out. For now, I keep doing NoFap. For now, I'm going to continue to think about it, continue doing my business, focus on recovery. Focus on recovery from getting sick and getting ready to enjoy celebrating America. And yeah, man, I got a lot to pray about. But anyway, I want to give a thank you for everybody that left a comment, and a big thank you to JD. You know, this is a wake up call, not just a wake up call, but a good sharing of ideas, a good clashing of iron. Because I do need some people to sharpen me. I do need some people to call me out. Because I haven't had that in a long time, actually. The only person that called me out was Andrew Tate, and he wasn't talking directly to me. But he's the only person I've ever felt actually call me out. So it's good to be surrounded by other people that can call you out too. And you know, I loved Andrew Tate. Obviously, I don't agree with everything he says, but he says I agree with a lot of what he says. But he is the person that put me down this path. He is one of the catalysts that put me down this path. So, yeah, but thank you. For real. Thanks. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, JD. Thank you, Butterfly Effect. Appreciate you guys. And, you know, I know if anything ever happens, I'll just do a vlog. You guys can check up on me, and you guys can see if I'm doing okay or if I'm dropping the ball, because I certainly have been dropping the ball lately and for a while. I need to figure out a lot of things in my life, and this tension and this fear, and pray about it. And I hope you guys will pray for me. I really do. Anyway, what is this, a podcast? I've gone on for like 45 minutes, so that's all I got for today. I wanna ask you guys a question. Oh, I just don't know what question I want to ask, so I'll figure it out next video. I gotta start producing these videos a lot better now again. I remember. But then again, back then I had so much more time on my hands. Like, jeez. Can you imagine me editing like this? This freaking 45-minute video. It's gonna be like forever. But anyway. I gotta make some time for it. I gotta make some time. I gotta make an intro. I gotta make like everything. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for watching. If you got something out of this, leave a like, leave a comment. I hope you did. I hope anybody that's struggling with this kind of complacency, but also this kind of inner tension, that you got something from this. Because this is definitely, this video might be something that I continue to come back to. For sure. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.